beginning, our vetting may be incomplete. Well, Madam, what's your ladyship, sorry, what is your view on judgment debts? And on whose part is the failure?
My personal view is that it's a big problem. It's a big problem because I think there are many cases that are not well defended. I think we need to look at the issue of how we apply interest rates closely. I think we need to look at how contracts are managed in the public space closely. Very often the transactions are in one ministry and have to be defended by the Attorney General's department. And I have come across cases where the relevant ministry is not giving enough information to the Attorney General's department for them to defend the matter. So I think it's a section of justice delivery that as a country we have to make ourselves alert to, and everybody with responsibility should pay attention to. I will do my part.
Thank you very much. On that note, I wish you well, and hope that as the Chief Justice, if approved, your era of leadership will be different, will be innovative. You will speak true and right the wrongs, and have impactful interventions that I believe you know, with all your experience in the judiciary, you know are very necessary to be able to deliver justice in the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. All your words have been taken to heart.
Honorable Suhuyini.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable nominee, Mr. Chairman, let me, before I begin my questions, raise an issue that relates to maybe Parliament and our data systems and how they are kept. In my research for this exercise, I was shocked to realize that even though the nominee appeared before this committee only a couple of years ago, 3 years to be precise, 2019 November, this House has no record, verbatim report of her appearance. According to the people in charge.
Honorable Member, I think this has nothing to do with her.
That's why I said it has nothing to do with her.
We will deal with it in the back room.
I said it has nothing to do with her, but please, I just think that it is important that...
Kindly, let's please, I beg you. Let's go back.
Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, if...
a point.
Please, can I regulate it?
Yes.
What shortcomings there are in our administration is internal to Parliament. There are procedures for dealing with those ones. Now, we are doing the public. Please, you can make a statement outside of here, exposing how weak our systems are. But please, let's continue with the consideration of the nominee, please.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, but you see, this is a public hearing, and the people out there hold us to higher standards, and they expect that if a nominee appeared here and said certain things, they will want us to know. And I'm saying that it's a big challenge that we have to resolve. We should not be, shy about it. We should fix the problem internally. So that it has to do with the committee, because I first went to the committee office. This is where I started looking for the information. Mr. Chairman,
go to the question. I want us to avoid argument over this. Please go ahead.
I just don't want us not to have a record of this next year. Let's take note of this. And let's not think that I'm washing our dirty linen in public. I think that it is important that we fix our problems internally because it helps improve the job that we do here. That's the point I just wanted to make. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, I take note of the nominees' inclusion of Saki into her names, and she has said that she will submit the Gazette to update our record. And I particularly was excited about her reason for the inclusion. As a father of daughters, I am really excited about the reason for the inclusion of Saki. But it also gives me an indication of how strongly you are tied or related to family. And I would have ignored it, but I read somewhere about you being the niece of Major Sam Akwa, a very popular military officer who was the managing director of GIHOC, who unfortunately was murdered, under very bizarre circumstances in this country. You would have been about 20 years around that time, judging from your age. How did you have any relationship with him as a niece? How do you remember it? And has that impacted your choices in life in any way?
He was my mother's first cousin. I was in the university at the time. And yes, I remember the incident very vividly. I don't think it has impacted my choices in life. That's what I think that's the answer I can give.
All right. Let me move on now to, as a deputy ranking of the Lands and Forestry Commission, I am concerned about the use of state lands. Lands and Forestry Committee. Did I say commission? Leader, thank you for drawing my attention. I meant committee. I can't be ranking of a commission, so you should know I was referring to committee. I'm concerned about lands, especially the use of state lands. You will recall that about 12 appeal court judges and their families had to be relocated into rented apartments, costing, at the time, we're told, not less than $2,500 a month, with a promise to build them 21 ultra-modern replacement apartments in 18 months, when a decision was taken to put up a national cathedral at where these 12 appeal court judges and their families were living. In fact, at the time, the information is that there were even some bungalows that were still under construction. The bungalows they were living in were less than, in some cases, 5 years old. I have also noticed recently that there's judicial service lands around the cantonments area, near Namibian High Commissioner's residence, where some, judges were housed, around Elwak. I've noticed that it has been taken up by private developers recently. Now, my question is, what would be your, and maybe related to this also are reports of the decay that we see at the recently constructed Supreme Court building. That's just less than 5 years old. The court complex, the court complex. What will be your attitude towards the preservation of these lands or assets or properties belonging to the judiciary? And do you know if those 21 ultra-modern apartments that were promised when the 12 judges were relocated have been delivered? Thank you.
Yes, they have been delivered. I actually live in one of them. And And my attitude to protecting the assets of the judiciary will be robust.
What does robust mean? I'm sure the viewers out there are also asking, what does robust mean? Madam?
Robust means that as an administrator, I'll be absolutely interested in knowing where all our properties are. I'll be interested in knowing what is happening with them, the state of them, and ensuring that they are well protected, because we need them.
My Lord, can I ask this question? Does Judicial Service own any property, or they are properties of the state allocated for the use of the judiciary?
I believe that these are properties of the state allocated to the judiciary. But if they are located to the judiciary, then the judiciary must be in control of them.
I understand that carefully. I'm worried about creating the impression that it's the judiciary's property. It's a state property. The state may reallocate to somebody else.
I think that if the state is to reallocate them, it can only do that with our consent and our information. No, I don't think that the state, because we are part of the state.
Exactly the point I was seeking to make, because I mean this definition of what the state is, I know, will take us into another realm of argument. But I hope that the chairman is not suggesting that the state refers to the executive.
Please,
that
just
can
go ahead with
that can offer land and take it at will and relocate it to anybody that they want. I hope that's not what the chairman is suggesting.
If we get an opportunity, we will argue that between you and I, and I'll show how. Because if I allocated it to you, I can't take it back. That is legal. Please proceed with your question.
Well, it looks like this debate has nothing to do with you, Honorable Nominee, but I'm on your side on this, and I'm hoping that you will actually ensure that land or properties allocated to the judiciary are protected and used to the benefit of all of us, and the executive should not encroach on it at will. Now to my next question. It has to do with career magistrates. It was something that many people in that area hailed. They were happy when it was introduced. At a point, a number of them were even given study leave to go upgrade themselves. And the promise was that they will be converted to become professional magistrates. As we speak, the concern I get is that many of them have not been converted, even though they have undergone their training and returned. They have not been converted to professional magistrates. Some have been converted, but there's no criteria, there's no standard that ensures that it is monitored and it is based on merit. What will you do about that, assuming, without saying, that this House approves you to become the Chief Justice? What will you do about the fate of these magistrates who do not know when they will be converted to professional magistrates, and even how they will be converted?
I know the House will approve me, thank you. But beyond that, I think that all of these situations are covered by documentation. They're covered by records. And it's important to work with the records, the undertakings given, the actions undertaken, and how the stage at which whatever change has occurred is in. So I will work with the records. There cannot be conversations that anybody makes presumptions about. The records must speak to the situation.
My final question. I see that you are a person of faith. Membership with AGLO